Hello, Frugalistas, and welcome back for another episode of Dinners on You. Yep, you thought I forgot, and I was never going to get back to it, but here we are again, where you suggest the foods, and I try to make a dinner for $5, and keeping it under $10, and not just relying on pasta and rice and beans and things like that, because it's really not that hard to feed $5 for under $10 if you just make a big plate of pasta, obviously, but I'm trying to, involve other things to make some frugal dinners. And so you guys have given me the suggestions, and this is a dish I've been wanting to make for a very, 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 very long time. I've had the ingredients out in my kitchen for a long time, and I keep putting it off because I have such anxiety over pie crust. But I'm putting on my adult diaper today, and I'm doing it. I'm facing the pie crust challenge. So anyway, this is a dish suggested by Mary Williams, hamburger pie. So we've got the pie crust, top and bottom. We have a pound of hamburger meat, onion, some canned veggies. Flaherty Dawn suggested Jello, which is always a great frugal dessert. So if we have enough money for the Jello, it's like 40 cents, I think, for the Walmart Jello. We'll get all the prices together. But here we go with hamburger pie, which does have cheese in it. So it's really cheeseburger pie. And yeah, we're saying prayers now for the crust because it's a lot of prayers going to be required. Here is 1 pound of hamburger meat. I'm going to start by sauteing this onion and cooking the hamburger meat with it. While they're cooking, we'll put together the pie crust. And there's about 35 cents worth of chopped onion right there. So that's going to get sizzling in a pan first. I'm really more gently sweating than sizzling. Let them cook slowly until translucent, and then I'll add the hamburger meat. So for the pie crust, first I'm going to sift 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and I estimate that this is about 12 cents worth of flour. To that I'll add a teaspoon of salt. All right, oops. We're cutting 2/3 of a cup of the all-vegetable shortening into the flour. I already dumped it in. It was refrigerated. I had it in this cup in the refrigerator, but I turned the camera off. But anyway, vegetable shortening. It's the same as any kind of fat. It's fat. It's made from palm oil and soybean oil and corn oil, things like that. It's like lard that you would use for making biscuits or pie crust, but it's just made from vegetables. It's, well, not really vegetables, but plants. It's fat from plants. So we're cutting in the shortening with forks because I couldn't find my pastry blender because I think Frugal Daddy hid it from me. Just to be a little scamp. Just to be a mischievous scamp. Use my fingers to make sure it's all mixed together nicely, and then, but not a lot because I don't want to heat up the fat with the heat of my hands. Luckily my hands are pretty cold. And then we will mix in just a little bit of ice water. There's our ice water. Just enough ice water to make it come together as a doughy ball. Then we'll divide it in half, roll out half, and put it in our Pyrex baking dish, and some of it on the floor. It wouldn't be me if half the food didn't end up on the floor. All right, hopefully that's enough water to keep it together. Hopefully it's not too much water. Trying not to touch it much. knowing what we've done in the past, get it roughly in half. Oh yeah, look how professional. Roll it around your rolling pin. Oh, there it is sticking to the counter. That's professional too. And then we try to unroll it onto our pie dish. Now I know for you all this looks like a mess, but for me this is pretty good so far. It's definitely not of even thickness. Oh, I will say that. Put all the extra here. All right, say a prayer. I'm going to pop this in the oven for a few minutes, and then we'll work on the filling. And then we'll top it and put it back in the oven. There we go. Here we go. Oh, there's a cookie sheet in there. Oh. And back to the onions, which have gotten a little browner than I expected, but I'm sure that will just enhance the flavor. And we'll add to that our pound of hamburger meat. This is pretty fatty hamburger meat. I think this is 80-20. 80% protein, 20% fat. So a lot of fat, I think, is going to have to be drained off. Going with the Jello, as suggested by Clarity Dawn. Jello is a great dessert, and the Walmart brand is cheaper than the Jello brand. So I know in some countries they call this jelly, but in America we call it Jello or gelatin dessert. So we have our 2 cups of water that I just heated in the microwave for 3 minutes, and I'm going to pour the lime Jello powder in and stir it. Let it cool a little on the counter, and then we'll refrigerate it because it takes a while to cool off and gel up. So we need to get this going. I just checked the pie crust in the oven, and it looks like it's about ready to come up. And I know you're supposed to put pie weights in it or beans or whatever to keep it from puffing up on the bottom, but I didn't because I'm just not that worried about it. So, and who doesn't like lime? Sugar-free lime. And here is my pre-baked pie crust. I let it bake pretty long. It's pretty thick though. I hope it's flaky and not mealy. All right, now we got to tend to that filling. So there's the hamburger and onion in a bowl. Now we're going to add 3 types of vegetables: peas, carrots, beans. These canned vegetables are only 50 cents a can at Walmart. I don't even think we need the whole can of each, maybe half a can of each. So 75 cents worth of vegetables. Mary didn't tell me anything about a binding, like what would bind all this together inside the pie. I don't know if there's supposed to be a binding. You know how we always bind our casseroles together with cream of mushroom soup? So that's what I thought. I thought, okay, put some cream of mushroom soup in it to hold it all together. So that's what we're going to do. But then I also thought, I'm not sure how psyched the kids are going to be about the vegetables in here. So I was thinking about maybe kind of pureeing the peas and carrots and beans in the cream of mushroom soup sauce first before putting it in there. So you could see like the colors of the vegetables, but they'll be broken up enough that you're not going to just feel like, oh, I'm eating a big bite of peas, because that's not what the kids are going to want to do. So I think I'm going to try that. So I know I'm deviating. I'm deviating, Mary, from what you told me to do, but that's what I'm going to try to do. And then we'll add little cheese and onward. So there are the veggies in the NutriBullet. Here are all the leftover veggies. So I think I'll just put them into some vegetable soup. There we go with the cream of mushroom soup on top. So I'm going to give it a quick blitz. I blitzed it maybe a little bit more than I planned, but just to get it mixed at all, it kind of like, it just turned, oh, I don't know what I've done now. It's just turned into a sauce with vegetables, but maybe that's better. We could always throw in a few more of the whole vegetables so you get that look of vegetables being in there. So, okay, so we're going to stir this together. Maybe that was too much soup. Okay, throw in a few of these whole vegetables, just so it actually looks like there's vegetables in here. All right, we'll pour the filling in. It smells so good. I haven't had a savory pie myself in, oh my God, many years. Probably since I was a child and had chicken pot pie. I'm just going to sprinkle the cheese on top of the breaded mild cheddar. Now, y'all, I really need you to say a prayer for this pie crust. That it comes out nice and flaky and tender and not mealy and gritty and bad pie crust. Any leftover pie crust, at the end, you can make little sort of cinnamon sugar pie crust cookie twists in the oven if you want. Sticking to my counter. Okay, roll it up. Move this bad boy over. Unroll it. Oh, yeah, baby. And then we'll just kind of trim it around the sides. I know with pre-baking the bottom, I've kind of messed up the opportunity to kind of crimp the top and bottom together, but I don't really care that much. As long as it's just all cooked all the way through. Look at all the dough we have left over. Look at it. That's a lot. That could be the whole other bottom crust for something that doesn't get a top crust, like, I don't know what, a quiche or a pumpkin pie. We'll give it a few pokes to vent. We want our pie to be able to vent if she's feeling rage or frustration. And now this will go in the oven, I don't know for how long. We'll just see when we think the top looks baked, because basically the ingredients are all cooked, right? And hopefully nothing weird will happen. There'll be no explosions or spills, or anyway, it's going in the oven. All right, Almighty Jesus, Father God in heaven, please rain down your blessings on this pie crust, which needs nothing short of holy intervention to turn out delicious and pie crust-like. Here we go. The pie's out of the oven. It is a beautiful golden brown color. I don't know how well that shows up on camera, but in real life, best looking pie you ever saw. Smells pretty good. So of course we're gonna let this cool for a while and hopefully firm up inside. And then we'll cut into it and we'll get Frugal Daddy to try it. Okay, Frugal Daddy is ready for food. So I said, you've got to try your pie so I can make this video. Obviously this pie would serve a lot more than 5 servings. You know, I mean, it would be 8 if you cut it like, I mean, that's a pretty big piece of pie. Now, it's always hard to get the first piece out, so I wouldn't be surprised if this makes a little bit of a mess. Oh my God.
You made this?
I made this. It looks like...
What is it? Can I ask that?
Looks a little bit like barf pie, but I'm sure it tastes better. I think...
Barf pie, that's our new name for it?
Well, it's hamburger pie, but I'm not quite sure I made it as well as
pie?
Mary did. Yes, yeah, but she didn't... Yeah, I added... I don't know, it's staying together pretty decently.
I know.
I hope you're not looking for Cool Whip, because it's not that kind of pie. He's getting ketchup. That makes sense. There, our version of Frugal Cheeseburger pie. Let's see if all your prayers for a decent pie crust came through. This is the true test of the power of prayer. Boy, that is a tiny bite. Eat it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like chicken pot pie, but it's hamburger with cheese pot pie.
Tastes like a pot pie. Nice crust, nice and flaky.
Flaky crust! If nothing else matters. Is it cheesy enough?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it hamburgery at all?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you didn't know, would you think it was chicken pot pie?
Yeah.
It tastes like chicken pot pie? Well, there you have it.
It smells like
cheeseburger pie that tastes like...
it smells like cheeseburger.
It does smell like cheeseburger.
It It smells like the cheeseburger bowls you made.
Oh yeah, cheeseburger bowls.
We have
Those were good.
cheeseburger bowls for dinner.
We don't need to because we're having cheeseburger pie.
Ketchup. This looks really good. Let's go.
You know, there's a long tradition of, savory pies,
Oh.
pasties, and
Where is that tradition?
Hot Pockets.
Oh, yeah.
Hot Pockets.
Hot Pocket.
All right, everybody say thank you to Mary Williams for suggesting it. And thank you to Clarity Dawn, because thanks to her, we're having Jello for dessert.
Yay!
You want to try a bite? This is what we're having for dinner later. This is just our mid-afternoon pre-dinner tasting of
Yeah.
dinner. Everybody says the crust is very flaky. Tell me what you think. Ignore what it looks like.
To be honest, it's really good. I mean, like, on a scale from 1 to 10, I think it would be like a 9. The only problem is, I think the bread is too thick.
Oh, the crust is too
Yeah,
thick.
crust.
So here's the final dinner with the Jello, which was only 36 cents, I think, for the box of Jello. And the Walmart brand light whipped topping was less than 90 cents. And for several servings of Jello, you would not even use a third of that container. So I just estimated 35 cents worth of whipped topping for the whole dessert for everybody, but I don't think you'd even use that much. And to recap the cost of the cheeseburger pie itself with its amazing crust, we had $3.20 for a pound of hamburger meat, 44 cents for the crust, that was 12 cents worth of flour, 31 cents worth of shortening, and 1 cent worth of salt. We have 75 cents worth of vegetables because the canned vegetables were 50 cents each, so it was $1.50 worth of canned vegetables, and we did not even use half, but I estimated 75 cents, which would be half. The Jello, 36 cents, 35 cents worth of Cool Whip. The soup that I used as a binder, which maybe that might have been a big mistake, I don't know, but that was $1, and then 90 cents worth of cheese. So for the whole shebang here, the Jello, as suggested by Clarity Dawn and Mary Williams cheeseburger pie, that all comes to $7. Definitely quite a bit less than our $10 budget, which is good because, that piece of pie is not massive. That pie is massive. That giant pie is definitely more than a serving each for 5 people. So for $7, you're getting enough of the cheeseburger pie that some people could have a very large serving. With the $3 you have left in your budget, you could have sprung for pudding. You didn't just have to have Jello. And you could add a huge salad, which would be nice. That is a nice frugal meal, warm and cozy. Well, the pie's warm and cozy on a cool night. Jello's always a great frugal dessert. And we're trying something new, and yay for us. Oh, there you go. Dinner on you. Dumpsterinos.